This is Joe Lonizak from Wisconsin Main Street. I will not be able to make Seattle this year. Unfortunately, I didn't make Kansas City last year either. Caregiving issues with my mother-in-law that we're going through, so miss you guys. And apparently, people still like the fact that I hand draw. I'll probably do this for the rest of my life. I'm old school and very stubborn, and I still enjoy it. But anyway, it kind of started with Larry Lucas. He wanted to know kind of my process. I know for a fact a lot of you probably go through more detail in what you provide your communities. I don't do any scaled dimension working drawings or anything like that. I don't do any specifications other than giving them kind of a description of what I drew. But beyond that, I don't do a lot more than that. And a lot of that is on purpose because I really don't want to take away any work from the private sector, whether that be local architects, contractors and things like that might have design capabilities. So really what I consider my design services to be just to get the ball rolling, to sort of be that spur that gets someone from just having an idea that they want to do a building improvement all the way to going through the permit process, hiring an architect if they need it, or being able to talk intelligently with contractors and show them the drawing and say, this is kind of what I want to do. My drawings are just schematic, just like all of yours are. So I always tell them that unless it's major changes that are required from what I drew, as long as what I drew represents what we talked about, what we discussed, because it's a free service, I really don't make a point to do a revision every time they have a small little change. But if there are major changes or if something is required for permits or design review, I can and am willing to make revisions as needed. I'm gonna pan over to my markers. One of the things that ignore my messy desk. But anyway, I used to do all my drawings by hand, pencil, and then I would render them by marker. But unfortunately, because the markers I use are no longer made, they're very hard to find. Once I run out of refill ink, I'm pretty much SOL. So I've been doing only with marker any rendering that I can't do on Photoshop very easily, like if it's I'm doing some landscaping or something like that in front of a building, I'll do that with marker. But then the rest of it, the glass and the windows and the brick and everything like that, I will typically now use Photoshop to render it. So I'm going to go through a little bit of the process of how I draw it. I'm actually starting with a really cool old gas station. This is in Two Rivers, Wisconsin, which is on Lake Michigan in the eastern part of the state. It's very cool, kind of a Spanish revival colonial gas station, Mediterranean, which fits right in Two Rivers, Wisconsin in January. And by the way, it is January 26th or something like that, and it is minus 14 degrees out as I am recording this. So not exactly Mediterranean weather. But anyway, I'm going to work on this project, and I specifically picked one where it's in perspective view because I want to show you how I kind of simplify the whole perspective drawing thing from what we probably all learned of finding the vanishing point and all that kind of stuff. I do it a lot simpler than maybe our professors taught us. So this gas station right now, it's vacant, but it is connected to Rudy's Lanes, a bowling alley. And the owner wants to make it into an arcade that can be accessed from the bowling alley. So it can be kind of a family event center. So I'm going to turn this in the next few hours into a cool arcade, and I'll show you how I draw it. Okay, so hello everyone. I don't know if you can see me, but this is me. So the first thing I'm going to do is, first of all, I took some photos on site, and then I, got the view that I want. But for the first thing I mentioned, I tend to simplify the perspective drawing process. So because I took this view, kind of how I know where it'll fit right in the center of my drafting table, it's pretty simple. I know that my vanishing point will fit on the drafting table. So with that, I can start by, I find kind of the center part, and I kind of find the most vertical part of the center line, and then I simply use my good old drafting tape and tape it down. Really technical stuff here. Now what I do is I will take my straight edge again, and I know that Larry Lucas had mentioned that he uses a light table. I do not. I just use a regular drafting table with Borkle and a straight edge and you know, things like that. And you notice I'm writing right on the Borkle. It's kind of messy, but I have all these little circles here that are old vanishing points from past drawings I did. So I just cross those out when I'm done with it. And in my older age, I need glasses. So, hello. So I'm going to start out find my left vanishing point. So I know that was somewhere around here, so I'll draw a line, and then I'll take a spot lower on the building. It's about right here. So I know that that's my vanishing point, and then I check it on other spots of the building, and that's pretty good. So I'll circle that. That is my vanishing point on the left, and then I will do the same on the right. Let's see. Check. Okay, so there's my vanishing point on the right. So I'll cross out all these other old ones. So I know that from there, that's where I can work from. That is really it. And now I'm gonna get my piece of vellum. And by the way, yeah, I mentioned before that I don't draw things to scale. I really, even if it's an elevation view, I just take a straight on photo that fits an 8.5 by 11 and fits well within there, and I can put the title block on the bottom, and then I draw it. It's proportioned, but it's not to scale. And again, another reason for that is because I work for state government. I was told right off the bat that, you know, don't put too much detail into these, because we don't want anyone to think that it's the drawings to scale and then have something built to what they think is that scale and then find out that it's not, it doesn't fit. So again, keeping these very schematic just to get the ball rolling. I still use the old clear print design vellum. Now, Larry mentioned about the light table, and I will admit, yes, it probably is a lot easier to see through you know, on a light table. The only problem is I haven't found a light table that draws as well as the Borkle. You know, it's a softer surface. And then when I mentioned on the vanishing points before, one of the things that I do when I have to, say when I get done with this and I start drawing the brick in, I like to use a thumbtack, and because it's Borkle and because it kind of heals itself, I will put this right into the crosshairs of that vanishing point, and then as I'm drawing the brick, I don't have to worry about lining this up. I can just feel, and then it goes a lot quicker. So I can draw the brick, draw a line for the brick, draw a line for the brick, and keep going down the way. So that's a little trick of the trade, and something that you probably can't do on a light table. So, like I said, it does kind of get hard to see exactly what it is, but I don't know if you can tell from the video, but I can see the outline and some of the details. So how I make up for that is I make 2 copies of this, of the exact same size, so that when I can see this, and if I'm struggling through the vellum to see where the roof line is, where it starts, I can just measure it using my handy scale, measure it and say it's 21.5 feet from there, so I can see it through there. So that kind of, like I said, very simple. And I'm gonna start drawing very shortly. All right, so I'm gonna start kind of at this main corner right here, this corner. It's kind of the leading edge, what I would consider. And at first I just kind of go lightly on the main verticals and find out where those are. Again, I can see them a little better than you can probably see on the video, but I can't see them great. Okay, now that I have my Xerox copy in black and white, now I'm just gonna render with marker just a couple things that I can't really do very well on Photoshop. So really it's just gonna be these little planters. I'm just gonna color in the Okay, so that's good. Now I am going to scan this and then I'll be able to edit it and do my photoshopping on it. So off to the scanner I go. Full color, and I scan this as a JPEG, not a PDF, because then I can edit it, and I scan it as a full colored JPEG. Okay, now my drawing is on Photoshop, and now I get to render in Photoshop and have fun. So I will show you updates as I go.